What is up, guys? Mayo Jones here. We back at with another video, and this time we'll be doing our Week 13 predictions. We're gonna do the rest of them. So last week I went 10-3, which I did really good, and my overall is 118.61. So yeah, but we already got past Thanksgiving. I wish you guys did have it. Now, before I get to the video, don't forget to put a thumbs up on the video, subscribe to my channel, watch, and don't forget to comment down your opinion below to see who you got winning for Week 13. So anyway. Thanksgiving's over with. Now we're done with our Thanksgiving picks for this week. The Lions. I chose the Lions to win 38-16, and they won 23-20. I chose the Cowboys to win 16-10, and they won 27-20. I chose the Packers to win 30-24, and the Packers won 30-17. And finally, I chose the Chiefs to win 23-17, and they won 19-17. So I got most of the score predictions right, and rest of the predictions are right. So basically, I'm 4-0 in my prediction so far. So we're to get towards the rest of the games. This game right here, we got the Los Angeles Chargers against the Atlanta Falcons. The Los Angeles Chargers are favored by a point. This game can go either way. It's hard to choose because here's the thing. Kirk Cousins is really good as an underdog because we seen a couple weeks ago. He was really good as an underdog, especially against a good team at home, like the Steelers against the Eagles. He was good as an underdog against Philly. So, yeah, he's been really good as an underdog, but not frankly. He hasn't been really good as an underdog as much he is. So, yeah. And then you got Justin Herbert is good as an underdog too, but I don't even know why the Chargers are favoring this game. But it can go either way, though, because here's the thing. Here's the thing. Atlanta's at home. They're coming off a bye. The Chargers, are coming off a disappointing loss against the Ravens. Now, I would like to say here is that the Chargers do have the better defense than the Falcons because the Falcons don't really have as much of a pass rush. The Chargers, they don't really have they have much of a pass rush. They can get after Kirk. They have a real secondary that can really cover the Falcons receivers. Like, offensively, they don't really have a lot of weapons, though. But the Falcons do have more weapons on offense. I feel like they might have success running the ball, but I don't know if they will. Now, the Chargers, I don't know if they're going to be able to run the ball as much because their best running back, J.K. Dobbins, could be out for this game because he has a knee injury. Now, basically, in my opinion, I think the Chargers are a better team than Atlanta. But as you look towards this, I think Atlanta, does have, a good offense, line, and they're really good at pass blocking. So I think this could be an offensive game where we can totally see the Falcons, we can really see Atlanta, control time possession and take care of the football and keep Herbert on the sideline, which that could allow Atlanta to win the game. But I think this game is going to be interesting, though. I know a lot of people are on the Chargers because they have the better defense, but I'm going to go with a little bit of an upset here. I'm going to go with Atlanta to win because they're at home and they're coming off a bye. I think their offense is going to find a way to, control the game, and I think they're going to stay balanced. And, Raheem Morris is a good defensive coach, but I'm not too much worried about the secondary. As long as they can crowd the box, I think they can stop the run of the Chargers. And they pretty much got a secondary that can really handle against the Chargers receiving core because I just don't really think the Chargers really have the skilled players on offense to keep up with the Falcons. And, Darnell Mooney, Drake London, and Kyle Pitts could totally be a problem. Bijan Robinson can be a problem as well. So, I really like Atlanta to win in a shootout. So I'm just gonna take Atlanta to win, but I think they're gonna win like 33-30, 37-34, something like that. Or maybe they win by a touchdown or something like that. So yeah, I like the Chargers to win. I mean, I like the Falcons to win straight up. Next game we have the Pittsburgh Steelers versus Cincinnati Bengals. The Bengals are favored by 3. Obviously, I call this another trap game because most people are on the Bengals and most people are on the Steelers because the Steelers are coming off a tough loss and the Bengals are coming off a bye. But this can totally go either way because here's the thing. Because I think when you look at the Bengals, you know, they got one of the best quarterbacks in Joe Burrow, and he's on a different level. And they pretty much got a really good offense. They can run the ball, they can throw the ball, and they pretty much got a solid offensive line. But I think Brown should be back, which that can help. The Steelers, offensively they're not as good. Defensively, they've been a little bit up and down, but they totally got diced up by Jameis Winston on the last play, like basically though. But the Steelers pretty much have a better defense in Cincinnati. Don't get me wrong, but the Steelers always play the Bengals tough. Um, as you because as you look at it, I think the Steelers, pretty much have a respectable pass rush. And, their offensive line, I don't think it's great, but the Bengals do have a solid defensive line that can really get after Russ. They can stop the run really well, a little bit, but not much. But I think if they can stop the running game of Najee and Warren, I think that can force Russell Wilson into some uncomfortable passing situations where, where they could totally, like, not convert on third down or something like that. So I feel like the Bengals need to get at least successfully on early downs. They got to get the ball out quick and all that if they want to score, because I feel like the Bengals are going to do that. Because last week, I mean, the week before last, I thought the Bengals looked pretty sloppy in that game in the first half against the Chargers, and they ended up trying to make a comeback, but it all came down, to the defense choking at the end, and then you got their kicker missing too many field goals, which that cost them the game. But at the end of the day, you know, Cincinnati's at home. They're coming off a bye. I'm going to back the Bengals and Joe Burrow's explosiveness against a defense which I thought totally got ripped up by the Browns, which I thought the Browns could have at least won by more, especially, with the Steelers starting to get off a little bit sloppy. Because I thought Jameis Winston and his Browns offense made some stupid plays, which I think the Browns could have at least easily blew them out though. But it was all came down to both teams starting off sloppy. But I have a feeling that the Bengals are gonna do what I feel like they're gonna do what Dak did. I feel like they're gonna do what Jameis did. I think they're gonna have to start the game with some quick passes, like some big passes down the field, run the ball a little bit with Chase Brown and all that. So yeah, I think the Bengals are gonna find a way to pull this one off. But if I'll take them to win straight up, but I'll take them to cover. This is 3 points. But if it was 3.5, I'll take the Steelers with the points. But I think the Bengals are going to find a way to get back on track to win this game. I don't see them losing 3 in a row because I feel like Cincinnati needs this win a little bit more so they can get into the postseason, so they can keep their playoff hopes alive. So I'm just going to take the Steelers. I'll take the Bengals to win. I'll take them to cover as well. I'm going to say they win by 24-16, something like that. I just don't think the Steelers are going to do much on offense to score a lot of points like they did last week. But maybe they can, but I don't know. But at the same time, if the Bengals, if they can get up early, they can totally blow the Steelers out, which I would not be shocked. So yeah, I like the Bengals to win. I like the Bengals to cover. Next game, we have the Arizona Cardinals versus the Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings are favored by 3.5. Obviously, this game right here can totally go either way. Ultimately, the Cardinals are coming off a tough loss against the Seahawks, and the Vikings are totally coming off a close win against the Bears. Obviously, This is Kyler in a dome. He's really good in a dome as well. But he's playing against a Flores defense that's very aggressive. But I don't really think that Kyler Murray's gonna find a way to do much against his Vikings defense, especially against Flores, where he likes to blitz, he likes to confuse quarterbacks, and he's been really good, at defending young quarterbacks. I think that the Vikings do have an underrated pass rush. I think they can get after Kyler, and they can stop the run really well, which I don't think Arizona's going to be able to run the ball effectively. But they pretty much Vikings do have a respectable defense, a secondary that can really find a way to cover Marvin Harrison, and and I feel like they pretty much have a decent offensive line. I mean, the Cardinals' defense is pretty much underrated, but I don't think it's as good as the Vikings. I think Minnesota can find a way to run the ball in Minnesota. I think they can throw the ball. I mean, they'll run the ball in Arizona. They'll have success doing that. And they'll have success throwing the ball on the Cardinals because I think, Justin Jefferson will be a problem for the Cardinals defense. Jordan Addison will. And TJ Hawkinson will be a problem as well, too. So, yeah. So I feel like the Vikings offense is just going to be too much for the Cardinals defense to handle. And Sam Darnold has been really good in the past, has been really good lately. But both the quarterbacks are similar to each other. Maybe you can argue saying Kyler's better than Sam Darnold. Maybe Darnold's better than Kyler. But yeah, but I think the game right here is going to be very close. And I think it could be a lot closer than people think. But I don't know if the Cardinals are going to do much offensively against this Vikings defense that has been really good all season. So I'm going to lean towards Minnesota to win, but I guess I'll take them to cover as well, the 3.5. I'll take them both, but I just feel like the Minnesota Vikings are just a more complete team. They're at home, and they pretty much got better coaching as well. So I'm just going to lean towards taking the Vikings both ways. I'm just going to take them to win and cover. I mean, if Minnesota gets up early, I think they could easily blow the Cardinals all out, I think. So I think, I think the score, I want to say maybe 24-16 or something like that, or maybe maybe 31-16, something like that, or 30-17, something like that. I think the Vikings will score more than the Cardinals. I don't think the Cardinals are going to be able to do much. So I'm thinking my Minnesota could easily blow them out. So yeah. So that's why I'm taking Vikings both ways. Next game we have the Indianapolis Colts versus the New England Patriots. The Colts are favored by 2.5. Obviously, this game can go either way. In my opinion, I think Drake May is better than Anthony Richardson because Drake May has been a little bit promising than Anthony Richardson. We know the Colts, we know Anthony Richardson is really bad. He can't throw, but he can run. But he's been very inaccurate lately. But I thought that a few weeks ago, he played his best game as a passer, which that was amazing. Now, the Patriots defense is getting a little bit healthier after getting Barmore back. Maybe the Patriots defense can keep it interesting and keep it close because how well they play. But at the end of the day, the Colts pretty much have a great defense as well. Their defense is not as good as New England, but it's been getting a little bit better. So yeah. So obviously, I feel like this game right here can go either way. But there's a chance New England can win because they can totally ruin the Colts' playoff chances. But at the same time, the Colts still got their playoff hopes alive, and the Patriots are close to getting eliminated, I think. So, yeah, so basically, I'm going to lean towards Indy to win. I'll take New England with the points because I think New England can do enough to keep it close and competitive. I don't think the Colts can run the ball effectively. I don't think they can throw the ball effectively. But I think this could totally be a defensive game, which I think it will be a defensive game a little bit because, The Colts defense sometimes play with a lot of sound. The Patriots defense play with some sound. Offenses don't. Gerard Mayo looks like he's the worst coach, while Shane Steichen's a really good play caller. He can totally find a way to attack Mayo's defense. I feel like they're gonna have to find a way offensive. The Colts are gonna have to find a way offensively to move the ball and run the ball effectively. Um, so yeah. So basically, this game right here is pretty good, but it's gonna be solid. But at the end of the day, um, you know, they both not great, but I think the Colts are a better version of the Patriots because the Patriots don't really have a lot of good weapons on offense that scares the Colts. But I think the Colts offensively can move the ball a little bit, and especially the Patriots defense been a little bit up and down. So I think it's going to be low scoring. I'm going to say the Colts win like 19-16, 23-16, something like that. More like a lower scoring game. So I'm going to take the Colts to win. I'll take the Patriots to cover. I mean, I feel like this should be an ugly game. So yeah. I wouldn't be shocked if New England won, but I just had a feeling that, that the Colts are going to pull it off. All right, next game we have the Seattle Seahawks versus New York Jets. Seattle is favored by -1. Obviously, this is another game that can go either way because, again, this is West Coast traveling the East. And Aaron Rodgers, he's at home. The Jets defense has not been playing as good lately. It's been very pathetic. They're good in terms. I mean, they've been up and down all season, but yeah, you can totally say that it's a bad match for Seattle because this is a Jets defensive line against the Seattle offensive line. That's a Seahawks offensive line is not great. And then Seattle's defense is playing a lot better than the Jets. I mean, don't get me wrong. Their offense is completely better than the Jets because Aaron Rodgers has not been playing well because he's been panicking under pressure and he's not playing at the same level. But here's the thing. I think the Jets, can totally give the Seahawks offense some issues. We know Devontae and Garrett Wilson can be a problem for the Seahawks defense, but I have a feeling that Seattle does have they pretty much have the corners, to cover against the Jets receivers that can really force Aaron Rodgers into to like be uncomfortable in some passing situations where the Jets, I don't think they're gonna be able to run the ball effectively. But the Jets do have a great secondary. Don't get me wrong; they can cover against Seattle's receivers, but I don't really see the Jets defense doing much. I feel like DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett can win their one-on-one matches, which I think they can though. And Geno Smith, he's been good against man coverage. Don't get me wrong, he has been, and he's been a better quarterback than Aaron Rodgers so far. And Seattle has better coaching as well, especially Mike McDonald. He's more of a better coach. He's kind of the more better defensive coach than Jeff Ulbrich because Jeff Ulbrich have not had good game plans lately. So yeah, so I think Seattle wins because I think they're the better team. They have the better quarterback. They have better coaching, and I have a feeling that they have more to play for because they have a better chance to make the playoffs. And the Jets, they're totally looking to fall apart, and they're totally looking to miss the playoffs once again because they haven't made the playoffs in since I think last time they made it since 2010. So they're gonna have another losing season. So yeah, so basically, I like Seattle to win. Maybe I'll take the Jets to cover. I'm not sure because I know the Jets are coming off a bye, which it kind of helps. But you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and just take the Seahawks with the cover as well. I'm just gonna take them both ways. I'll take them to win and cover. I'm gonna say they win like 24-17 because I don't think the Jets offense is gonna be able to do much in this game. So, a little bit. So yeah, maybe Seattle wins by a touchdown. Maybe they cover. So yeah, I like Seattle to win. I like Seattle to cover. Next game we have the Tennessee Titans versus the Washington Commanders. The Commanders are favored by 5.5. Obviously, this game right here, you know, Tennessee is coming off a win against the Texans, and Commanders are totally coming off a loss against the Cowboys. Obviously, this game right here can totally go either way. But at the same time, this game right here can totally matter because here's the thing. The Titans offense played really well against the Texans. I thought they ran the ball really well. I thought they were able to throw the ball really well. And I thought their defense played really sound against the Texans. While Commanders, they have not been playing really well and they've been not looking like themselves. I mean, their offense has totally been falling apart a little bit. I mean, Jaden Daniels looks like he's a little bit overrated. I mean, he's not playing as well. And then, you got the defense, it's solid. I mean, they're playing great, but it's been not playing at the level it should be. Like for like the past couple of weeks, their defense has totally been playing excellent, but it hasn't been playing as good as it's supposed to be. So maybe there's a spot I think Tennessee can totally make it interesting though, because Titans have a great offense. They have a great defense that can really get after Jaden Daniels and make him uncomfortable. Um, what does worry me about the Titans is the injuries on defense, because if their corners are out, I think that, it won't be no match against Terry McLaurin, because Terry McLaurin is just really good receiver and he's tough to cover. And, yeah, but Washington's I hope they get Lattimore back, which it totally can help their secondary, but without Lattimore, I mean, their secondary has totally not been playing as good. So, yeah, so at the end of the day, I think this game should be interesting. I think it should be close. I mean, I understand Washington's a better team this year than the Titans, but we know Titans are not a good team, and Washington is pretty much a good team. And we know that Tennessee doesn't have much to play for, and Washington does, because Washington still has a chance, to reach the playoffs this year. So obviously, it's weird to say that I want to call it the Titans as an upset because of how bad Commanders have been. But at the same time, I'm just gonna go ahead and take Tennessee with the points. But I'll take the Commanders to win straight up because the Commanders are just a better team overall, and they got the better quarterback, and they pretty much got better coaching a little bit, and they're pretty much a better team anyway. So yeah. So at the end of the day, I think Washington should win, but I'm gonna take Tennessee to cover because I think Tennessee will hang around this game. I think Washington can win by a field goal. I'm probably gonna say Washington wins like 23-20, something like that. I think it's gonna be more like a lower scoring game. So yeah, so give me Washington to win straight up, but I'll take the Titans to cover because I feel like Washington does need to bounce back after coming off 3 straight losses, and they're heading towards a bye. So yeah, next game we have the Texans versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Texans are favored by 3.5. Obviously, this game right here, Trevor Lawrence should be playing because he should be playing, which where there's no reason why he should be missing because Jacksonville is coming off a bye. Trevor Lawrence has missed the last 2 games due to injuries. But if he doesn't play, I mean, I feel like the game could not be interesting though. I feel like the game will probably be a blowout because here's the thing. Jacksonville, offense have totally not been playing as well as they should be. I mean, it hasn't been. Like, the offense is totally struggling in the last couple of games because, they haven't been playing well. I mean, they haven't been playing as good as they supposed to be. Um, The offense is totally not. And then when Trevor Lawrence was playing, the offense was better. But I feel like Trevor Lawrence is a bit overrated. I think the defense is a little bit overrated because I don't think it has been that great this season. And you got the Texans, who have a really good explosive offense. And CJ Stroud is really good against, man coverage. He's really good against bad defenses. And, Jacksonville, they do like to play too much man coverage. But I think Nico Collins and Tank Dell will get open. I think Dalton Schultz will get open. I think, the run game of Houston is going to be a factor. I think they should be able to run the ball. They should be able to pass the ball. Um, you know, I think that the Texans should be able to have a good offensive and defensive game plan. The Texans do have the better defense in Jacksonville. They pretty much got a good pass rush that can get after the quarterback. They have this corners in the secondary that can really match up against the Jags receiving core. But obviously, the Jags don't really have much of a receiving core because here's the thing. Gabe Davis and Christian Kirk is out. So Brian Thomas, is probably going to be covered in this game. And Evan Ingram could too. So basically, I know this game's in Jacksonville where it's tough to play, but I got to roll with the Texans here because Texans are just a way better team. They have a better quarterback. They pretty much have better coaching. Doug Peterson seems like he's not as good of a coach. He could look to be on his way out of Jacksonville. Um, Jacksonville is just a way, they don't have much to play for because this team's probably not going to make the playoffs. And, you know, the Texans, are looking to clinch the AFC South once again, and they're looking to clinch a playoff berth. But they're 7-5 right now, so they haven't clinched yet, and they're leading their division. So yeah, I lead towards the Texans to win. I lead towards them to cover. I think it should be closer than we expected because last time when these two teams played, the game was pretty close. So I expect it to be a close game so far. I think the Texans can win by a touchdown. Maybe they win by a field goal. But I'll take the Texans to win and cover straight up. I'm gonna say they win like 30 to like 26, something like that. Maybe they win by double digits. Who knows? So yeah. So I'll take the Texans to win. I'll take them to cover. Next game we have the Los Angeles Rams against the New Orleans Saints. The Rams are favored by 2.5. Obviously, this game right here can totally go either way. But 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 obviously I think this game can go either way because here's the thing. A few people are picking the Saints to win because the Saints have been really good at before the bye. I mean, they won two straight with their interim head coach. The Rams coming off a tough loss against the Philadelphia Eagles, where the Eagles ran for 300 yards. Um, I like to see both defenses are very good. The Saints defense looks like it's pretty solid. The Rams pretty much have a solid defense as well. Has been playing really good, and so is the Saints defense is. But the Saints defense is totally not as good as it used to be though, even though their defense played really well for 2 weeks before the bye. And the Rams, they can find a way on offensively to like attack, the Saints secondary and like they'll find a way to move the ball against them. Then maybe they get the run game going with Kyron Williams. I mean, the O line is solid. The defense, I think they'll find a way to get out their car. Um, Um, so basically, the Saints don't really. I mean, the Rams are more healthier on offense, and the Saints are not healthier yet. So I lean towards LA to win, but I'll take New Orleans to cover. But I think the Saints can hang around in this game, and I think the Rams. I feel like Cooper Cup and Puka Nacua will be a problem, and they're just going to be too much for the Saints defense to handle. I feel like Stafford is a much better quarterback than Carr, and they pretty much got a better coach, and I think they're a more complete team than them. But I would not be surprised if the Saints pull off the upset, because if they did, they'll still be alive in the playoffs. So yeah, I think the Rams should win because the Rams are just more explosive team. They're more explosive on offense than the Saints are. The Saints don't really have enough explosiveness on offense, which I don't think they really have the guys on offense. Like, they don't really have the weapons on offense besides Kamara to like keep up with the Rams, which I think they could a little bit with their defense, but I just don't see it though. So I take the Rams to win and the Saints to cover as well. I'm gonna say the Rams win like 24-20 or 27-24. Maybe the Rams win by a field goal. Maybe they win by a touchdown. So yeah, or maybe they win by a late stop on defense. So yeah, so I'll take the Rams to win and the Saints to cover. Next game we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Carolina Panthers. Tampa Bay is favored at 5.5. Obviously, this game right here can totally go. You know, the Bucs are totally coming off a win against the Giants, and the Panthers are totally coming off a close loss against the Chiefs, where they should have at least won. Now I'm gonna say something about the Panthers. The Panthers have been very good and they're starting to show some fight though. I mean, they've been very competitive in like the last few games. I mean, their offense is playing really good. Their defense is totally playing really well. Bryce Young is starting to play really well. He's improving week after week. Um, obviously, I think this game is gonna be super close. I think it's gonna be competitive. Now, I feel like Dave Canales is totally facing against his old former team in the Bucks, but you know what? Dave Canales has really good game plans against the Panthers offensively. But at the same time, this is a Todd Bowles defense, a rookie facing against a Todd Bowles defense that he's really good against young quarterbacks. But I think Todd Bowles will have a good game plan against Bryce Young. He's going to make the Panthers offense look one-dimensional. The Bucks pretty much have a really good offensive and defensive line. I think their defense can find a way to get after Bryce Young. I think they'll stop the running game of Carolina. I think they'll stop the passing game in Carolina because the Panthers don't really have a lot of weapons on offense that can really scare them. And at the same time, the Bucks, pretty much have a great def. The Panthers defense is not as good, but it's playing better. But Mike Evans and Cade Otton will probably be a problem. I think the Bucks can get the run game going with Irvin and White. And I feel like Baker will have some time as well. So basically, I'll take the Bucks to win because they have the better quarterback. They have better coaching. They're a more complete team. But I'll take the Panthers with the points. I think the Panthers can do enough to stay in the game. I think they'll find a way to at least stay in the game. I think they'll find a way to keep it close and competitive. And I think their offense is going to move the ball like they did last week. And that'll set them for success. So, at the end of the day, I'm taking the Bucks to win, but I'll take the Panthers to cover. But I'm gonna say the Bucks win by a field goal. I'm gonna say 27 to 24, something like that. So yeah, I take the Bucks to win, the Panthers to cover. Next game we have the Philadelphia Eagles against the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are -3. Obviously, this game right here can totally go either way. Um, but obviously, this game right here, you know, two of the best teams playing against each other. Now, we know Lamar has not lost to a team in the NFC like he never does. I think the last NFC team he ever lost to was the Giants, I believe, which I think it was the Giants. So yeah, it was the Giants. So yeah. So basically, I think the game can totally go either way a little bit, but at the same time, the Ravens, pretty much have like the worst pass defense in the NFL, and they're playing against the Eagles offense, who loves to like run the not pass the ball, but they can pass the ball a little bit. They're playing against an offense that likes to run the ball, and the Ravens are really good at stopping the run. But I feel like if they get Michael Pierce back, that's a huge boost to their run defense a little bit. And as long as the Ravens can at least like slow down the run game of the Eagles, I think the Ravens can find a way to at least like find a way on defense to like put them into some tough situations where they can put the Eagles into some second, third, and longs. So yeah, and then at the end of the day, the Eagles, because I feel like if Devonta Smith is out, I feel like that would be a huge blow to the Eagles' passing game because he's a factor. Um, the Eagles have a solid offensive line, and their defense has totally been playing lights out. Maybe they get Lamar some issues, but I don't know their defense is going to be able to do enough against Lamar because Lamar's really good at home against good teams, and the Ravens sometimes blow teams out. Sometimes the Ravens, like I said, they'll get a lead early, and then it'll allow the Eagles to come back, let the other team come back. But I have a feeling that this game right here can totally be super close and competitive, though. But in my opinion, I think the Ravens are the better. I think it's going to come down to who's going to run the ball more. It's going to be Derrick Henry or Saquon Barkley, which I don't know. But I feel like the Ravens could have success run the ball in the Eagles because sometimes the Eagles defense is soft at times. And they've been and sometimes they're bad against the pass. Maybe the Ravens can throw them a little bit. I feel like Lamar can have some time. But you know what? This game's in Baltimore where it's a tough place to play at though. But I'm gonna lean towards Baltimore to win. And I'm gonna lean towards, I could take the 3 with the Eagles, but I don't know. I feel like this game could be close. It's fun to watch. I see the high scoring game here. The reason why I'm taking the Ravens to win is because the Ravens, are just they have the better quarterback. They got the better coach. They're at home, where Baltimore's a tough place to play at. I think Baltimore's kind of a better team than the Eagles. So yeah. So I think the Ravens should win, but at the same time, I'm taking Philly to cover because I think Philly is going to find a way to keep up with the Ravens, which I think they can. Because the Ravens' defense sometimes doesn't really play as good. Like, they allow teams to run them over. They'll allow teams to, like, hang around. And I think Philly can hang around in this game. I think the Ravens can win by a field goal. I'm going to say, like, 34-31, something like that. More like a higher scoring game. So, yeah, I'm taking the Eagles with the points. I'll take the Ravens to win the game. And also, the matchup for the Ravens, they pretty much got a great secondary that can really cover against Devonta Smith, cover against the Eagles receiving core, which that's a good matchup, though, the Ravens secondary against them, where I think that can allow the Eagles to run the ball, which I can allow Jalen Hurts to throw the ball out, like, offsides, like, out of bounds and, like, force them to run the ball, which, yeah. So, that's why I'm taking the Ravens to win this game, and I'm taking Philly to cover so they can hang around. So this should be fun to watch. All right, Sunday Night Football, we got the San Francisco 49ers versus the Buffalo Bills. The Bills are favored by -6. I call this a trap game because I didn't even know who I was going to pick in this game. Because here's the thing. I don't know who's going to be playing for the Niners. Now, I did hear some news that the Niners are going to be without Bosa and Trent Williams once again, which that kind of hinders them. And Purdy coming back is huge. But this game should be interesting, though, because, you got Purdy versus Josh Allen. And then you got and then you got both defenses are really good, both offenses are really good. Um I don't really know if I really want to pick the Niners because the Niners have been very terrible lately. Like they have been on a losing streak lately, and the Bills have totally been thriving as of late. Like they have been. But at the same time, the Bills are very explosive on offense, and Josh Allen's really good against defenses. And this is again a West Coast try against the East Coast, where the Niners are going across the country. The Bills do have a really good defense. I think they can find a way to um I think it's gonna be cold there, and the Bills are really good in the cold and when in the snow as well. I think the Bills will have success on offense, running the ball, throwing the ball. Maybe they get Kincaid back, but I don't think he will play. Maybe Coleman comes back. Um, yeah, so the Bills are totally coming off a bye. They should be well rested and prepared. And they pretty much have a defense that can really get after Purdy. I mean, I feel like their pass rush is really good. I think they'll find a way to get after Purdy, force him to him some mistakes. They have the corners in the secondary that can man up against Debo and Kittle, that can really force the Niners to run the ball. But obviously, I want to take the Niners though, but this is in Buffalo where it's going to be cold, so I'm taking the Bills to win because the Bills are at home. They got the better quarterback. They're just a more complete team as well. Would I be shocked if the Niners won? No, but I don't think the Niners going to be able to do much on offensively in the cold to keep up with Buffalo, which I don't really see it happening though. But if this was Brandon Allen, I feel like this could be a blowout though, that the Bills can win by 24 points or more. But if this Purdy, I feel like this could be closer. But I don't even remember if the Niners are really good in the snow because the Niners, I don't even remember if they've struggled in the snow. I think it's kind of hard to say if they did. So yeah, so basically, I'm gonna take the Bills to win and the Bills to cover. Um, I think the Bills can win by maybe by one score. Maybe they win by a touchdown or something like that. So yeah, I'm gonna say the Niners win Bills win 20, 30 to 23, 26 to 16, something like that. Maybe the Bills win by double digits or something like that, maybe. But if the Bills get up early, they can blow the Niners out. So yeah, so could the Niners cover? Yeah, maybe they can, but I don't know if they're gonna be able to do that against the snow and against the snow. So yeah. So I take the Niners. I'll take the Bills to win. I'll take them to cover. So I got them both ways. And finally, last game we had the Cleveland Browns against the Denver Broncos. The Broncos are favored by 5.5. Obviously, this is a primetime Monday night game. You got Jameis Winston, who's one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time, and I'm pretty sure you're gonna hear Jameis Winston do his pregame speech every week because we're gonna get 18 clips of Jameis Winston doing his pregame speech, where which I think they could totally interview him before the game, which I don't really know if they will because this will be funny if they interview him during the game, like that would be hilarious if they did that. Maybe if this was in Cleveland, maybe they can interview him before the game, but I don't know, man, because that's just kind of hilarious to see. Now, do I think the Browns can win? But I don't. I think they can, but I don't know if they will because this could be the worst quarterback match I've ever seen. See Bo Nix versus Jameis Winston, which that'll be the worst matchup to ever see. But obviously, I think this game's probably gonna be a little bit ugly. This is a rookie quarterback facing against a Browns defense that is really good. But the Browns defense has totally been bad on the road, but they haven't been really bad recently. I thought last week their defense played really well against the Steelers, and offensively they was able to move the ball. Maybe they can do that against the Broncos. I don't know because Vance Joseph has a really good defense. is a really good defensive coordinator, and he's really good at making teams look terrible. Maybe he finds a way to confuse Jameis Winston. Maybe he can do that. Courtland Sutton can totally be a problem for the Browns. The run game could be as well. But at the same time, this is the games in Denver where it's kind of tough to play at. And, the Broncos have been really good as of lately. So I'm going to take Denver to win because Denver's just a better team. They're at home. They have a better coach, in my opinion. And I just think the defense is going to find a way to get after Winston, force Winston into some tough situations, some uncomfortable spots, force him into some tough throws, force the Browns to run the ball. I don't think the Browns are going to be able to run the ball as much as the Broncos can, which I think Denver could. But I think it should be low scoring. I think Denver wins by a field goal. I'm probably going to say 20-17 or 17-13, something like that. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game because both defenses are really good. And I think the Browns defense, I feel like the Browns can hang around this game. So, but I don't think they'll do enough to win. So I like the Broncos to win. I'll take the Browns to cover. So yeah. But would I be shocked if Cleveland won? Nah, but I just have a feeling Denver's going to win because Denver is looking to fight for a playoff spot and they have more to play for and the Browns don't. So, yeah, that's pretty much why I think the Broncos are going to win. Well, those are all my Week 13 picks for this week. Thank you guys for watching. And don't forget, if you guys disagree with me on all my picks, just let me know in the comments below what you guys think. So, this is Emmanuel Jones from Big Fan. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys later. Peace.